welcome once again to an abbreviated and live edition of the Cow Report. And with me, as usual, is my rusty and trusty sidekick, Fred the Truth Stafford. And boy, Fred, it's a hot one down here at the L.E. Phillips Memorial Library.
You bet.
And we've had some technical difficulties, but I think we're getting her ironed out right there. We're back on schedule, so please do not adjust your sets. This is live. It is July 11th. We're coming to you from the beautiful L.E. Phillips Library, and we have a guest tonight. And we're going to be talking about an upcoming Citizens Fair. So with me, I want to introduce the people to David Forrest, and you're with United We Stand America.
That's right. I am the county coordinator of Eau Claire County of United We Stand America.
So how long have you held that post?
I got elected to that post last, that's a good question. It was elected last fall.
Good. Now, you've got a big Citizens Fair coming up on Sunday, July 17th, 1994. That's next Sunday, from 1 to 5:30 at Hobbs Arena in Altoona, Wisconsin. Just our neighbors to the immediate east. Now, what exactly is a Citizens Fair?
Citizens Fair is a combination, a place where people can go, a one-stop place where you can find out about many different things pertaining to government and groups, normally non-profit groups that have tables set up in there with information. You will find things there that maybe are not that familiar around this part of Wisconsin. There's more of them in the southern part of the state. Some of them, term limits for Wisconsin, for instance, they said they wanted to come up here, but they didn't have any place to go where they could be represented, where people can come and find out about what they want to present. So this is really definitely a combination of many groups. It's a thing that could not be put on by one group without the support of all these other groups.
Now, is it safe to say that you probably have something for everybody and something from soup to nuts?
Definitely, with all of the different tables set up and the different candidates. In fact, when it gets to candidates, how many numbers would you like? We have 31 candidates scheduled to speak and answer questions also. That's a big part of it. You can talk to them.
Well, I got a list here, and it looks like you got pretty much everybody that's running in this part of the state.
If they're not on there, I've talked to their campaign manager, and they will be there. So everyone will be represented.
There'll probably be some changes, last-minute changes, additions, and subtractions as the final filing period is tomorrow at 5 p.m. So then you'll know for sure who's got in underneath the wire and who's actually running and who's actually bluffing.
You should have been at my place. I tried to put out a press release last Friday. I kept having to change the numbers. There was just called, it started out maybe 23, 24, 27.
Uh-huh. And it's up to how many now?
31 now.
31. Okay. Now this is at the Hobbs Arena. And it's kind of surprising. It does stay pretty cool in there, even though it'll be the summertime. And what else do you have now besides speakers? Will you have some kind of entertainment?
Well, no one can go and listen to 4.5 hours of politicians talk.
Uh-huh.
We'll break it up. We have our band, the Ray Hick Band, and they will be playing. And also, just to keep the interest up and to get people involved more, we're giving out door prizes. And that, again, is the generosity of the local merchants that contribute these generous door prizes. In fact, we're giving away a 20-inch, an RCA 20-inch stereo color TV set as one of the door prizes.
Well, that's a pretty nice door prize. You know it?
Well, but the thing is, we want the people to come and find out, talk to their candidates, and I guess we've left very few stones unturned to get people to come.
Now, there'll also be food available and some other things too. I see here you're going to have like food booths, or how is that?
There will our host group, which is the Eau Claire United We Stand America, will have they'll be having hot beef and homemade pie and ice cream.
Okay.
Also, bring the kids. We will have free popcorn.
I saw
to everyone that comes.
Some little tickets. I don't know if you got any with you, but they're a little yellow ticket, aren't they?
Yeah, right. You'll see those around too. Little yellow tickets.
And those are free, right? The
Mhm.
popcorn.
Free popcorn.
Now, Fred, what do you
Yes.
think about this?
It's a great idea. Give people an opportunity not only to meet with, to listen to, and talk to the candidates that are running. And you know, it's very important that we elect people that know right from wrong. And if they don't know right from wrong, they're not morally qualified to hold office.
Spoken from a true patriot over there, Fred. And remind me to get your autograph after the show.
No, I'm not signing anymore. I'm getting tired of signing.
Okay. Now, when you're saying that, Fred, now there's about 30-some candidates here. I don't know if you know them all. There's some people that are here I've never heard of. So this must be kind of almost, you're talking the northwest part of the state plus some statewide candidates.
Oh,
It
yes,
must be.
all true, from governor on down to our assembly district. So, of
Okay,
course,
yeah, I guess here I got it. Yeah, I see it broke down now. You got people coming in, running for governor. You got at least 4 candidates there. You've got one Republican running for attorney general. You've got 2 for state treasurer, 2 Republicans. You got secretary of state. You have 1 so far. For U.S. Senate, that's one of the big races. You got 3 Republicans and 1 probably a libertarian. That's what the L stands for. For 3rd Congress, you have 2, 4, 6, at least 7 coming, 3rd District. For State Senate, in the Zine race, you've got 2 coming. In the Moan race, you've got, looks like 3 coming. In the 68th Assembly, you have at least, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the Krybeck race, at the 93rd, you have Krybeck and Miller will both be here, and then Mike Weiler. I don't know if he has an opponent yet or not. And you're trying to wind this up at what time then?
we would like to wind it up at 5:30. Originally, it was scheduled for 5, and then I saw the numbers of people coming, and I did extend it to 5:30. We will try to, with our question and answer format on their, to our speakers, we'll try to hold the questions down to be brief and to the point, but we do want to have, that's an important part of it, to have question the candidates. Don't let them just tell you what they want to say.
Say, Chris and Cliff. Cliff, could you close the barn door there? We're hearing all kinds of noises coming in here. We'd appreciate that if you could. Thank you. There.
Oh, another part that may not even be on here is the other groups that have tables. So all of the political parties that are represented here will have a table set up with their information. But other groups, for instance, Term Limits for Wisconsin is going to get a table and have information and people there to ask questions and speak or whatever. And other groups.
What are some of the more unusual groups that are going to be there? I know they're
Well, there's
kind of not too well known, but
I don't know. It's Northwest AIDS Project is probably not
okay.
terribly well known, but they are going to be there because where would you find out about things? Or where would they be able to tell you? And,
Now, there'll be plenty of literature. There'll probably be books for sale from the different groups.
oh, there'll be books for sale. There'll be probably buttons and literature and whatever they want. And then, of course, the United We Stand will be represented statewide in the different districts at tables also.
Now, I understand, in conjunction with this is the state convention. We're almost in conjunction as the day before,
Well,
right here in Eau Claire.
That we planned it that way too, that quite a few from around the state then will be coming to the United We Stand State Convention here in Eau Claire on the Saturday before and stay overnight. And,
So that'll help with
well, that'll
bring
give us all that free help there to get ready.
right. Okay, Fred, if you got another question for Mr. Forrest.
I don't have any other, but is Wisconsin Right to Life going to be present?
They were invited. They didn't get any more on that one.
Okay. So, what else would be unusual? I know you, like we said, the band. Now, the band will just kind of start it out and then play intermittently through that, or?
Right, we want to break it up so that, each group, like the governor candidates will have a time, and then we'll stop for probably door prizes, and then, then the other, about every hour or so, we'll stop and have the band play for another 15 minutes or so.
Now, I understand you're going to try and, I've seen some of your signs around town advertising this. You're trying to get a little more advertising out this year. Since this is the second annual one, some of these things take a while to snowball, but eventually they get to be big-time events. They almost become tourist attractions. Now, this started a little small last year, but are you expecting it to build to be bigger and bigger and better every year?
Well, the response I'm hearing this year is a lot more, and we are putting out more information on it and getting the word out. We learn as we go along.
Okay, well, is there anything else you want to add? Because Fred there is getting very nervous, and matter of fact, Fred's writing out a check.
Oh.
Well, I thank you very much for having me on here. And,
Okay.
And there is definitely something for everyone at the Citizens Fair.
Well, it really looks like it. I mean, we've got libertarians or Republicans, U.S. Taxpayers Party, Independents, Democrats.
And not only the people running from those parties themselves will have a table set up with information so you can actually learn what they stand for.
I think I said libertarians too. Didn't I?
Libertarians and
Right.
Taxpayer Party.
Yeah.
There are several, like Wisconsin term limits and things like that.
Well, it looks like it's going to be pretty exciting, and
John Birch Society has a table.
oh boy. So we got it from the whole spectrum. Is there any left-wing groups coming in?
Yeah. Who are they right there?
There'll be no.
Planned Parenthood? Is there left
Okay.
wing? I don't know.
I don't know.
But there are, that's what we want, and it looks like it's turning out very well, is to cover all sides of it, rather than, we don't want this to be slanted one way or the other. In fact, the candidates, we are not going to introduce them, so our point of view doesn't get on it. We'll present the candidates and let them talk.
Okay, now I understand you're also going to have a video that'll be playing continuously.
Well, there was a lot of people that missed seeing Bartlett and Steele when they were here. They wrote those 2 Pulitzer Prize-winning books, one Pulitzer Prize on each one, America, What Went Wrong, and America, Who Pays the Taxes. And so we did tape that, and we have their permission to play that video. We will play it at a video viewing area. So there's going to be things going on simultaneously all afternoon. People will be talking at the tables at the same time the speakers are speaking, and so you can select what speakers you wish to hear. The list will be posted of when the speakers are intended to speak, so you can select and choose, but you have to be there to win the door prize.
Okay, now, we try to stump the stars on this show before they leave, and of course the program is brought to you by the Flavin Pop Company from the wonderful world of Flavin. And Fred, we haven't sang that jingle in years.
Well, it's a good thing.
You think we could sing
The
that?
last time you sold it, sales went down.
Well, there's been some new developments, Fred, and sales are skyrocketing.
What, you sold another bottle?
Yes, there was an air show this weekend, and I think they sold 3 cases.
3
Is that
cases.
amazing?
Yeah, it
Of
is.
course, there's only 2 bottles to a case.
Did anybody die?
Not that I know of. But sales are picking up now, Fred, because we got a little recent advertising, and hopefully,
And what's that in the bottom of that there?
well, I don't know what's going on around here, but it looks like something's leaking. But anyway, every time I turn around, there's something new in there. I don't know what it is, Fred. The thing seems to be growing things. Now, that's something that comes to you free.
Grow.
Those extras are brought to you free.
You don't want to have any of them growing in you, do you?
Those are just little extras, little perks, Fred, you get being in this business. Now, we've withdrawn our offer, Fred, to buy out your company.
Well, and that's great. I'm glad that you did.
And you were playing hard to get, so we just decided to back off and just run head-to-head, because after all, this is America, Fred.
Yeah.
And the capitalist system shows competition is what we need. And so
Yes, yes.
2 pop companies are better than 1.
And look in here, and you look at this pop. It's nice and clear. Not cloudy as some other drinks are.
And I understand now there's no BGH.
Right.
Good. Okay, now, we're stumped the stars here before you leave, Dave. We always ask to star a question. And if you get the question right, you get a free bottle of Flavor Pop. So tonight's
Well,
question
You
is,
better hope that you don't get it right there.
in 1965, the Bad Boys of Rock and Roll received their due as the hit #1 song with I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Now, do you remember that song? 1965. What group was that?
I remember the song. I'm supposed to remember it. Group two.
To win the prize, the time is slowly ticking away on television. Every second seems like an hour.
Well, I think you got me stumped. I'll have to.
Okay, the answer is the Rolling Stones, 1965. Almost 30 years ago. Isn't that amazing? We thought that stuff was wild music back then. Here 30 years later. Okay, Dave. Well, we want to thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. And let me get your mic here, and we're going to hook that mic right to our telephone over here because we had a little earlier technical difficulty. And while you're leaving, Fred, I want you to talk about something of interest over there. Fred,
Well,
the Truth Stafford. Take it away.
I'm reading from the AFA Journal, the American Family Association Journal. Ex-homosexuals say you can change. Anthony A. Falzarano, Executive Director of the Washington, D.C. chapter of Transformation Ex-Gay Christian Ministries, and 24 healed homosexuals gathered recently to protest the American Psychiatric Association's attempt at their annual convention to stop the treatment of homosexuals called reparative therapy, unquote.
So in layman's terms, exactly what does that mean, Fred?
In other words, it is possible to change that lifestyle.
According to who again?
According to the Transformation Ex-Gay Christian Ministries, and there's other groups out there that are doing similar work.
Okay, so there are like ministries and things like that
Right.
of nature that are claiming success in that area.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Fred. Now, our last guest could not get that answer right. So that's why we have you on the show.
Yeah, well, I couldn't get it right either because I
I'm gonna
didn't
give
remember who it was.
I'm going to give you an easier one.
I didn't even remember the song.
I'm going to give you an easier one because I know you're up on this. This one's only on this date in 1985, Fred, July 10th, 1985. What happened?
I don't remember. I wasn't born then, so.
It was only 9 years ago. What do you mean you can't remember?
1985?
Yeah.
Oh, 1985. I thought it was 1885. No. No, what do we have? Mount Helens blew up?
No, actually, the Coca-Cola Company reintroduced their original formula as
Yes.
Classic Coke, admitting to a giant publicity blunder. The satisfied public sighed in relief, Fred, right just in time for the hot days of July and August and September.
Because I think they're still selling it.
Classic Coke outsells the other one if the other one's even on the market anymore. I think it is. But Classic Coke is the favorite, Fred. That's not an advertisement, that's just the facts, Fred.
Yes.
1985. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, Fred, I got a new magazine here somebody sent me, and it's called Reason. Have you ever heard of Reason?
Yes, I've heard of it.
What kind of a magazine is it?
It's supposed to be a pretty good magazine.
Because I see where they're writing about Castro and how Castro is moving to capitalism, trying to prop the whole system up down there before it folds. Now, okay, Fred, I had something here of interest that I wanted to get to, and it's about the ex-communist world, Fred. Former Soviet bloc countries face an alarming resurgence of tuberculosis, which has sent death rates soaring and could pose a threat to Western Europe World Health Organization experts reported on Monday, June 20th. Isn't that amazing, Fred? TB's back.
Well, that's because they probably are unable to get proper nutrition in those countries.
Well, they say it's a breakdown of healthcare since the Soviet, they had the whole thing propped up under the socialized medicine. When that all caved in now, all of a sudden they got problems. TB deaths are increasing in Eastern Europe and the former Soviet Union because of deteriorating social conditions are ruthlessly exposing weaknesses in many of the region's TB control programs. And I guess so far, Fred, 29,000 people died last year in former communist states from TB. It's a major infectious disease of adults across the world now. It's an infectious disease, Fred. So what happens with an infectious disease? When you were a young man, what happened to a person who had an infectious disease?
I know they came around when I had, I don't know, was it measles or chicken pox. Somebody come around to the door and put a sign on it, quarantine. And I couldn't have any visitors. Nobody could, except the family, could come into our house, my mother, my dad, my sister, and nobody else.
Yeah. Well, it's terrible, Fred, but that stuff is moving. I guess there is a very virulent strain of it that is not affected by antibiotics. It's killing a lot.
It's not only that, but other diseases are coming now that antibiotics don't seem to be able to alleviate.
All right, Fred. I'm going to turn her back to you now. Let's see what you've got over there for something of noteworthy excitement.
Well, True Love Waits Washington celebration drawing near. With the National True Love Waits celebration drawing near, organizers are encouraging teens and college students to send in their abstinent pledge cards soon as they can be displayed on July 29th in the Washington Mall near the U.S. Capitol. True Love Waits. That's an organization where teenagers and students pledge abstinence.
So exactly how does that work?
Well, sign the pledge card.
That's it?
And then they wear an inverted V white ribbon over their heart on that day.
Well, let's start, Fred.
Right?
You have to start somewhere.
You have to get back to traditional values.
Well, Fred, I don't know if we got any calls on the line here, but we'll adjust the hat there a little bit. Now, Fred, this is a real raccoon.
Yes. You're Daniel Boone, I suppose.
Well, somebody has to do it. Let's see what we got here on the phones tonight. Is anybody there?
Yes. What is that on your head?
Who, me or Fred?
You.
This here is a raccoon Davy Crockett hat. See the tail there?
That's nice.
That's an original made by my brother in northern Minnesota. He makes these for a living.
Yeah, Fred?
Yes.
I'd just like to say that, your jokes really aren't very funny, and that you're a fucking loser.
Thank you.
Well, Fred, we still have that English problem, and you know, there's a way of solving that, and it's right here. Supreme Court allows English-only rules at work. Now, we're on the job here, so we're going to have English only on this show.
Yes.
Any of those foreigners talking there and spitting out those unintelligible gutter language, we're just going to cut them off.
Right.
We're not going to put up with it. If the Supreme Court says you got to speak English, then we're going to have English on the show. So we'll try once more. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Here's my man. Listen.
I didn't know you know, Fred, I've been hungry all night. My stomach's been growling, but I didn't know it was that loud. You know what?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to get something to eat after the show here.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, how are you tonight?
Pretty good. Do you think Tommy Thompson's gonna get elected again or what? In the next election?
Now, what's he running for?
Running for governor.
Governor.
Okay,
Come on.
Tommy Thompson. Well, I'm going to let Fred, the true Stafford, field this one because
Uh-oh.
Fred's been in politics for what now? 40, 50, 70 years?
Know it, man.
So I think that Tommy Thompson is going to be reelected.
Do ya?
Yes,
Are you gonna vote for him?
probably.
Hopefully.
Now, who's some of the candidates in that race, Fred?
Well, there's Koala, Senator Koala,
Now,
and then there's a man named Fermi, or Frenny.
yeah. Now, Koala, he's not related to the bear from China, right?
No,
Okay. And the other guy's name is Frommie.
Frommie, yeah.
Okay, now I think there's an independent running too, Fred, because on our list of governors here, they had a guy named Michael Mangan, M-A-N-G-A-N, and it's got an I behind his name, and they also have a Dave Harmon under the Libertarian Party.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Edward Frommie from the Taxpayers Party, and you have Governor Thompson, and you have Koala. What's his first name?
I don't remember his first name.
Very unusual spelling of his name. It's got a B in it there somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
But he's a Democratic candidate. So it's a crowded field for governor, and now Tommy Thompson has the money, Fred. He's got that machine, well-oiled and greased machine that's gearing up for the 1996 presidential race. This here is just a kind of a minor league game for him here, kind of a warm-up game for the big leagues in 96. So what's your predictions on the 96 race, Fred?
I will wait until later to give any prediction on that race.
Do you think Tommy will get in it?
I don't know, to
His
be
name's
truthful
being-
with you.
His name's being kicked around out there in
I
Washington
know it,
and
and
Iowa.
possible vice presidential candidate.
With who?
I don't know at the present time.
Okay, well, I was just checking with you, Fred. Okay, we're going to try and take another caller here. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air. Unfortunately, Fred, we only allow English-speaking persons to be on the air, Fred.
Yes,
We try to keep this show running smoothly, and we have to have educated English persons speaking.
right,
Persons speaking English, not English persons. There's
right,
too many different nationalities out there just to have English people.
yes.
Now, Fred, are you of English extraction or Irish?
Well, actually, my folks came from Ireland, but my father came from Scotland, and it is possible my father's parents or father came from England.
So you had one of them Englishmen in the woodpile somewhere there. Okay. Now, where's the Irish side? Everyone talks about County Cork and all the
Well,
other counties.
my folks come from town of Longford, County Longford.
Is that in what part of the country is that in?
That's in Ire, the Irish Free State.
Okay. All right. We need to know those things, Fred.
Yes.
Okay, caller, you're on the air.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Where'd you get that hat?
My brother makes these. He's a mountain man. He dresses up in the 1830s style, you know, buckskins, and
Oh.
does the rendezvous. And
Does he sell them?
yeah, this is the kind they wore back in the 1830s.
Huh.
So, you know, it's
And animals from the 1830s?
no, actually, this is probably about a 1989, 1990 raccoon. It could be even a roadkill.
I was looking for my Henway. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I haven't seen it. Fred, have you seen it?
Henway? How much is a henway?
Oh, 2 or 3 pounds.
All right, you caught us there. So what's the big question for tonight? Either Fred or I, we try to field all questions, and of course Fred's middle name is Truth, so
True?
yep. Fred the True Stafford, so
How old is Fred?
if you want to stump Fred, ask him a question. There's question number 1.
Yeah.
He wants to know how old you're.
Old enough to know better.
Old enough?
Do you know a lot of stuff, Fred?
I don't pretend to know it all. And if I live to be 100, I still won't know it all.
Didn't they have a song by that, kind of that, on those?
I don't know,
lines
maybe
there,
they
Fred?
did.
I got a knock-knock joke.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, you start.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, that's a different one. You start.
Okay, knock knock.
Who's there?
I don't know. Okay, Fred. On this date, now this one's going to really test your, Fred, test your endurance. On this date, or actually July 12th, 1808, 3 p.m.
July 12th, 1808. That's too early for the War of 1812.
Yeah, that's a couple years off there.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint.
Is that the Louisiana Purchase?
Pretty close, Fred. Actually, it was the first regular newspaper west of the Mississippi started publishing. It was called the Missouri Gazette.
Published in St. Louis, huh?
Probably somewhere around there, 1808, the first one west of the Mississippi, as the United States moved westward. Okay, go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, can I say hi to someone?
Sure.
I'd like to say hi to the guys at 1245 Firewell. And I have a question for Fred.
Yeah.
How do you know they're watching?
I know they're watching. They always watch. We're
How-
like a weekly thing, you know?
How's the sound out there tonight?
What's that?
How is the sound?
Oh, it's better now.
It's better now.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, sometimes we have sound difficulties down here. We're kind of, public access is kind of run on a shoestring, so it's
No, it's real. It's great out here. Perfect.
good. The colors, or the screen is clean tonight, clear?
Perfect.
All right, good.
Yeah.
We've got,
Actually, we're taping you. We've got a whole collection every
oh,
week.
good. We've got Roy Rogers Hoff in the other room running the board there, and of course
They're doing a fine job.
Chris and Cliff Economaki, the Siamese twins of engineering, they're back on the job. And
These twins. Okay, well, actually, I have a question for Fred tonight.
okay, go ahead.
Fred,
Yes?
how are the Herbies?
How is the what?
I don't know, Fred. We have a policy. Speak
Yes.
English.
Yes.
You didn't catch that?
Peace, I think.
Hello, you're on the air.
I got a question for big old Fred there.
All right.
All right, I was wondering if he knows who consumes the most alcohol, the U.S. state per capita in the U.S.
I think it's Wisconsin.
Oh, you're wrong, man.
Yeah?
You gotta know that.
Who-
Nevada.
Nevada drinks more alcohol than anybody
Yeah.
else, huh?
You just pound beer. Don't you guys just love beer?
Is that around Las Vegas? Is that where they're drinking a lot of that stuff?
Yeah, I'd assume so.
It would have to be because
Yeah.
there's very few people in that state.
Elko, Nevada, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine the stuff really flows out there, Fred.
Yeah.
Gambling and booze.
There's a couple of other places
What kind
where
of beer
it's
do you guys
gambling.
drink?
Well, Fred's got some kind of new stuff over there. I don't know if it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, but mine is non-BGH, and it's pure. It's Flavin Pop from the wonderful world of Flavin, who brings
Yeah.
you this program. And we don't exactly know what the ingredients are, but we're working on it.
Is it like water or what?
We're working on it. We don't know what's in it.
Why am it?
Well, we'll see what we can do. Okay, well,
All right.
we appreciate you calling, and have a nice evening, and
Have a beer, man.
okay, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you very much. All right, Fred. We were going to try and get a hold of Lorraine Lee, but we had a little bit of technical difficulty there at the beginning, and we got all that stuff ironed out, and we're on the air here live. And I know, Fred, that you wanted to bring up something that's been bugging you, and we touched on it a little bit last week, and it's this group called CPR, Fred. Now,
Yes.
what is that? Is that some kind of medical outfit or what?
No, that is the Committee to Preserve Republicanism, I believe.
I understand you're thinking about joining.
No, I'm not.
Where did I get this at? It's a form.
Well, maybe they sent it to you.
Okay, now, do you agree with this purpose, Fred? Because I think this touches on you personally.
Mm-hmm.
Purposes of the Committee to Preserve Republicanism. They've got 2 reasons for being, Fred.
Yes.
Number 1, to retake the Eau Claire County Republican Party from the hard right, who took it over in February of 1993. Now, isn't that a great reason for having an organization?
Yeah.
Can you just imagine them?
What's the second reason?
Can you just imagine have them sitting around a smoke-filled room, drinking beers and smoking on cigars, and that's all they've got to talk about? What kind of organization is that?
Well, I think that's not the noblest of ideas. You know that we helped elect Ronald Reagan and George Bush. And if George Bush had only campaigned, he would have been president instead of the man we have at the present time.
Well,
And,
I think
it wasn't us who defeated him.
the man that was here earlier, David Forrest, who represents United We Stand, they threw a little wrench in the works too, because most of them
Yeah.
people, or a good majority of them, could have possibly, if it boiled down to 2 candidates, possibly have voted for Bush over Clinton.
That's true.
That's what we've seen in the past with that group. Not exactly
Yes.
the United We Stand group, because they've only been in existence for a couple of years, but that the last 3 elections, that middle group there kind of jumped to the Republican side, the last 3 presidential. Unfortunately, in the 4th one here,
One of the things that
92.
contributed to that loss was George Bush, who said, "Read my lips, no tax increase," and then went and voted for. And incidentally, he was the one who initiated the negotiations with the Democrats there for that tax.
Okay,
increase.
Fred, the second purpose you asked me, and this is there's only 2 purposes and reasons for this group's
Yes.
being.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand there's about 35 people that belong to this group that has only 2 purposes
Mhm.
of being and life to them. The second part of their reason for being is to recruit like-minded people in Eau Claire County to join us in this effort. And of course,
Well-
that reverts back to purpose number 1,
Yes.
which is to take back the Eau Claire County Republican Party from the hard right, who took it over in February of 1993.
Listen, we would like the Republican Party to remain a party of principle, pro-life, pro-family, pro-decency.
Those days are gone, Fred.
They're not gone.
You've got the wrong people leading that party. They're taking that party in another direction.
Well,
It's kind of like
we'll
hearkening
see.
back to
We'll
1920.
see. We're the grassroots people who've been doing the work for them. And instead of just doing the work, we're going to be in there doing some of the leading, too.
Okay, the leader of that party, the Republican Party's name is David Opitz.
Yes, in Wisconsin.
Now, they're scared to death to have born-again Christians and charismatic Catholics on staff. Scares them to death, Fred. They want you guys down in the trenches doing the dirty work. You start to get off the plantation and go up to the boss's house, you're going to get knocked down. That's what's happening in this party, Fred. You're rising up, you're leaving the cotton patch, you're wanting to go up there around the boss's house, and they're not going to put up with that. They control that up at the top. You're not a country clubber. They're not
No.
going to let you in that circle.
That's all right. I don't have to be a country clubber.
That's why
I love God, I love our country, and
You
I
have
love
to
my
do an
family,
Edinburgh.
and I'm gonna serve them.
well, there's an uprising on the plantation, Fred, and there's some people that are just breaking and running,
Well, let them break and run.
especially with groups like this. Now, the head of the 3rd Congressional District of your party demands that CPR is the only way to go. As a matter of fact, he's a member and his wife.
Well, that's fine. That's
And,
fine.
Now, he's supposed to represent the whole Republican Party in the 3rd District, and yet he's sided with a group that only has 2 reasons for being,
Yes.
as we've said earlier. So how can he remain neutral and build a party when he's joined one side of the fight?
Well, apparently he's not neutral.
Okay, now you got the same thing going on at the state level, the regional level, and the national level. So how do you tell me that you're going to keep this thing together when the
Well,
whole party's moving to the
We're
left?
we already have a big tent Democratic Party. That's all inclusive.
Who's in
Any,
it? Political Action Committee is all that's left in the Democratic Party.
Well, they take in anybody, homosexuals, abortion now groups, feminists, and everything. They already got them in there. Why do we need another party to do the same thing?
Well, that's what's happening.
Anytime they put up a candidate that represents that fringe, we'll vote against them.
Fred, once you prostitute yourself, it's only a matter of how much, when, and where. And that's what the Republican Party is doing right now on every issue, right down the line, whether it's Supreme Court justices, whether it's some of the people that were nominated for positions in the Clinton administration, whether it's the big tent theory of homosexuals and pro-abortionists. And you got some big-time Republicans now talking about moving in that direction, throwing...
Let them move. Let them move. They can join the Democratic Party and they'll feel at home there.
The Democratic Party has already been taken over lock, stock, and barrel by that.
Well,
That's
we
why
know
they're
that.
moving
We
in.
know that. That's why they should go there where they already have not only the foothold, but it's controlled by that
What you're seeing,
people.
Fred, there was a mass exodus from the Democratic Party when those groups moved in and took that over. Where did they exit to? They were called Ronald Reagan Republicans, or Ronald Reagan Democrats. They became Republicans during the 80s. Several million of them, 5 or 8 million, something like that. Okay, that was the 80s. Now, with the Republican Party doing the same hara-kiri that the Democratic Party did, you're going to see an exodus from the Republican Party into
It's
the
possible.
third. You've already seen it with the United We Stand, the U.S. Taxpayers Party, the Libertarians. Those ranks are filling, and those people are coming from somewhere.
Well, I think that some of those parties are not going to get anywhere.
Some of them are, and some of
And
them aren't.
I've been observing this for a long time.
Okay, now why does your state chairman allow a group like this to attack relentlessly the hard right who took it over in 1993 of February?
I'm proud to be right. I'm proud to be, rather than wrong.
Yeah.
Morally right.
Why doesn't
And I
he?
think the Republican Party, if it's going to last, has to remain morally right.
Why doesn't the state party put a stop to groups like this? if
I
you
don't
want?
know. You'll have to ask them. I don't know.
Well, maybe this caller knows. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Well, I got a question there for Fred.
Okay.
Fred, do you ever get jealous not having a hat like him?
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, now back on a serious question. Get off the point. When you were talking about Clinton's health care and everything earlier, what do you think about these boat people, these Haitians coming in, and then 7 out of 10 have AIDS?
Okay, it's a very good question. I'll tell you, that whole thing down there in Haiti was created by President Clinton. He's created a crisis, and now he's got to solve his own crisis that he created. So how's he going to do it? They're rattling the sabers in Washington, and all the generals are polishing their brass, getting ready for the big war down there. And everyone's polished up their bullets, and they polished their shoes, and now they started sending warships towards Haiti. So we're going to have a bloody little war. It's usually this time of a presidential term that these things happen. You saw it with Bush. You saw it with Reagan with Grenada, and it was Bush with Panama. Clinton will probably have his Panama, but it'll be called Haiti. He's got to have a little victory, so he's going to go up there. He's going to mop up those tin horn dictators down there in Haiti, and he's going to save the day and put in the communist/socialist Aristide, who believes in necklacing his enemies. He's called...
And Aristide also is a defrocked priest who incidentally has over $1 million when he came to the United States.
So right as we
Where'd he
speak
get it?
tonight, hundreds of Haitian babies are dying at sea and in their homeland are starving thanks to what Clinton is doing to that little nation down there.
Yeah, but how come the rest of us citizens have to suffer? I mean, look in our own backyard. Look at all the homeless people we have. Do we hear much on all these crack babies, these homeless people sleeping in bridges and stuff?
Well, don't you think that we have enough to worry about in this country without trying to interfere in other countries' internal affairs?
And that's what I'm saying. You know, and here we are accepting all these boat people, and 7 out of 10 have AIDS. Of course, you're going to have to push this health bill to clean that up.
No, we don't. All we got to do is turn them around and send them back to Haiti where they came.
Well,
This isn't the dumping ground for the world.
well, it seems like that, and it seems like the last 4 or 5 presidents have been like that. You know, I
Well-
mean, it stinks. You know, I mean, it stinks because, you know, it just stinks.
Well, we've got enough problems right here in the United States for this country to work for the next 20 years every day without even stepping 1 foot out of the United States to help anyone else.
Yeah,
And it'll take 20 years to mop up the mess that's been going on in this country since 1960.
I think it'd take a little bit longer than that. I mean, we have problems here in Eau Claire and Altoona more or less than going over there and starting anything. But anyway.
That's right. It's a mess, and it's not just people with HIV, but we don't have any cure in this country. We've got some drugs. Some of them have very dangerous side effects, but those people can go right back to Haiti where they came from, and we can send the AZT and all the drugs to Haiti. That's no excuse for coming into our shores and contaminating our people. It's a contagious disease. This is no time for us to be inviting more contagion to be spread around the United States. And some of those people will end up in the prison systems, and there's already an HIV epidemic in some of the prisons in the United States.
This is really just reminds me of the deal in Cuba with Castro, unloading off his prisons and sending people over here in the boat, and then we had to accept them. And it's same old story right now with the Haitians there. But anyways, that's my that was my question to you and that stuff. So keep up the good work.
Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, bye.
You know, Fred?
Certainly is right, and I know if I were a Haitian, I would not want to have Aristide coming back to run the country.
Well, that's why they met the American troops at the dock and said, you're not going to dock here without a fight. They called them an unruly mob, but those people, it would be an unruly mob if the Marines landed in this area and started telling people they were going to take over. You know, pushing people around. That is a sovereign nation down there, Fred.
Yes.
And we don't need some little bloody little war for Clinton like Bush used Panama to get his tried to get reelected with.
Do you have anything that you want to announce tonight, Chuck?
Well, Fred, I don't know. It's about 10 till 10, and I really don't know what you're talking about, Fred. It's too early.
It's been in the paper that you've taken out nomination papers to run for the 3rd congressional seat of Steve Gunderson.
Where'd you hear that at?
In the paper.
Do you believe everything you read in the Leader Telegram?
No, I don't.
All right.
But we know you've been out getting signatures.
Who told you that?
Well, I've seen you.
Well, that's just one part of it, Fred. You have to have a certain number of
I know.
signatures, and you have to qualify.
Have you gotten enough signatures?
Well, I don't know, Fred. We'll find out tomorrow at 5 p.m.
You're going down to Madison then.
Well, I really couldn't say, Fred, but we'll know what's really happening at 5 p.m. Tuesday, July, what is that?
What prompted you to take out nomination papers?
July 12th, yeah, July 12th. That's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Okay, July 12th, Fred.
What prompted you to take out the nomination papers?
Well, let me see. There's a lot of things going on in this country, Fred. We just dealt with one of them, Haiti.
Yes.
The congressional race, it's not just the Western District of Wisconsin or the Eastern District of Wisconsin. You deal with foreign aid. You deal with American soldiers on the demilitarized zone in Korea. And
have you had any difficulty in getting signatures?
unfortunately, no.
And I believe Don Brill has gotten quite a few signatures.
Well, I don't know, Fred. He's in that other party.
With that, it would seem to me there's a lot of dissension with Steve Gunderson.
Well, Fred, as we speak, from my information, there is at least 4 Democrats and possibly 5 by tomorrow at 5 p.m. that will have announced for the Democratic side for the 3rd Congressional District.
Yes.
Right now, there's 2 Republicans, including Gunderson and Brill, those 2. There's 1 independent who's associated with the United We Stand group out of Colfax, and possibly me, and there's possibly Mr. Sasha, who ran against Gunderson in '92. So it could be a crowded field, Fred. There could be as many as 9 people in that.
Well, the reason I asked this of you, if the people were so satisfied with Steve Gunderson, you should have had difficulty in getting signatures, and so should Don Brill. And since neither one of you have had difficulty in getting signatures, it would seem to me that Mr. Gunderson is going to have a hard time.
Well, unfortunately, Fred, Mr. Gunderson is an incumbent with 14 years under his belt on the federal level and several more years down in Madison. As a state legislator, he knows all the connections. He's spread a lot of money around like jelly over the last 14 years. He knows how to wheel and deal with them dairy people. Unfortunately, as we speak, Fred, farmers are dropping off like flies in Wisconsin. I think there's an article in the front page of the Leader Telegram tonight about the situation that's happening with the family farm is going down the tubes, Fred. They're no longer being protected, and the family farm also has kind of nurtured the family, Fred. The family farm and the family. It's been a nucleus. It's kind of held Wisconsin together. Now that's breaking apart, and the husband has to go out and find a factory job, and the wife might be doing something else. And you're seeing that nucleus, which is one of the pillars of our society, Fred, is starting to
that's been happening for years.
fracture.
That's been happening for years. And I can remember when I first came to Wisconsin in 1945, that in 1945, every farm around the Thorpe area, Stanley area, Withy, there was a family living on it. You go there today and you find a lot of vacant houses.
And a lot of empty 1- and 2-room schoolhouses.
And not only that, you find some of the businesses have closed down. The feed dealer, the implement dealer, they're no longer there. The hardware store is no longer there.
I know, Fred.
That's because that family farm that used to be the source of his business is gone.
And now we're seeing an acceleration because of one, as NAFTA, this new international socialism that's creeping upon us, where we thought we were going to have one big love fest with Mexico and Canada, but now all of a sudden we're finding out that it's not what we thought it would be.
Well,
You can't compete at 20 and 30 cents an hour.
They want to bring in also countries south of Mexico.
Fred, the
Chile
unions,
is one now they want to
unions
bring
in
in.
this country need to get a little steel in their backbone and start standing up, or there ain't going to be any union jobs left to fight for. All that stuff's going to be shipped south. There's plenty of cheap labor down there just willing and able to take those jobs. Okay,
Yeah.
Fred.
It's getting close to the hour.
That's what I hear. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, my uncle also makes those, only he makes them as beavers, those hats.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
I know. They're really warm, too.
Yeah, and I have a question for Fred.
Okay.
Fred, dude, I haven't seen your hands in a while. Where have they been?
They're right here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Fred, that's one of the most intelligent calls we've had this evening,
Well, we had a couple more.
other than a few others. Okay, Fred. So there's many issues out there, Fred, and there's a lot of things, a lot of reasons to stir up a person's imagination why he thinks he can run, and my imagination has been stirred, and there's a lot of problems, but I'm kind of an America First type person, and I think we've got to solve the problems in this country, including shutting off the faucet on the southern borders with the drug and human cargo traffic that's going on down there. If we want to do something with the surplus of troops, let's bring them back from Europe, put them on that southern border, and shut off the faucet.
You know, you talk about the surplus of troops. We don't have a surplus of troops.
In Europe?
We don't have enough. We couldn't mount according to General P.X. Kelly when he was here, we couldn't mount a Desert Storm at the present time.
Well, then let's get the troops back home and protect America. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Chuck, are you a veteran?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
from the Vietnam era, and as a matter of fact, I graduated from high school in 1967. And unfortunately, I tried to enlist, but I was not accepted. Several of my brothers were in the Navy at the same time that I was trying to enlist. I didn't go in. I come from a Navy family, and we were well served during the 60s and 70s, our family. And my father's a Navy man, too. But I was not. I ended up going to college instead,
So,
like many other baby boomers out there.
So, how do you feel about your the mention of you in Newsweek?
Well, I'll tell you. I've been doing this for several years, and it's not my fault that Rush Limbaugh has copied some of the things that I've been doing right here on public access.
That's funny.
And they're trying to twist it around to make it look like I'm copying Rush. Well, when you got a live call-in format, some things are similar. It doesn't matter if it's Rush or
Right.
anybody out there. Larry King, you know, you're going to...
Other people get to state their own opinion in your show. Rush's is his absolute opinion.
Yeah, I understand Rush just wants people to make him look good most of the time. I take them as they come. But unfortunately, we only have 30 seconds left, and we appreciate your call, and continue to watch because this is the #1 show on television. Thank you. Sorry to cut you off there, but we're down to about 10 seconds, Fred, and I want to thank you once again, and I see...
Steinbach, your whore.
How do we get that on there, Fred? Okay. I see you're holding the Bob Brown article, Fred. I'm glad that he spelled my name right and yours, and maybe Bob can get your autograph after the show. We want to thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate your viewing, and tune in again next week right here, Cable Channel 11 at 2 p.m. for the Cow Report. I've been your host, Chuck Lee, and good evening.
The American Family Association will be meeting next Monday night, 7 o'clock, in the Sacred Heart Hospital, Conference Room 5.
Okay. Thanks a lot. We'll see you then. You can...